So as we know, it has been a fun beginning of the year. It sounds like we had a lot of reps kind of taking the Christmas break off. They jumped right back in, only to get hit with NEM 3.0 now in early April. So we were aware of this for a long time. We had the NEM 3.0 rates already programmed into the proposal for a couple months now, allowing people to preemptively sell NEM 3.0 rates accurately in the solar proposal. To look at the updated rate plans, all you'll have to do is access a solar proposal built for a customer in one of the investor-owned utilities over in California. Click in the top right-hand corner, scroll down to rate plans, and then the post-solar rate plan. This is where you'll be able to see the NEM 3.0 rates that we had already preemptively programmed in there earlier this year. Now, in additional preparation for this, part of the struggle with the solar industry right now is really thinking about how to sell NEM 3.0. And not only that, it's also about overcoming the fear of potentially incorrectly selling NEM 3.0. And that's why sales tools like Solo are so vital to the industry and really help elevate the game, because we give you a tool that will remove that risk and remove that fear from your day-to-day sales motion so that you can sell a battery or a storage system, backup system, or even just a load controller and some conservation tactics, all right there within the same exact tool. The Solo battery modeling tool is such an impressive piece of technology. So what we did is we met with industry leaders around the country that represent billions of dollars worth of solar that's sold and installed annually here in the United States. And we got their feedback and their insight and their leadership built into this tool. So you'll notice a lot of features. It's the ability to adjust your post-solar electrical consumption. It's the ability to show battery consumption versus backup, or a blend of the two, something which is entirely unique to Solo's tool. So I could stand here and talk about it forever, but better yet, let's go ahead and dive into the battery tool within the Solo proposal and figure out how all those details work to provide a very safe, stable, and accurate process through which your sales reps can sell battery systems in California. As I mentioned before, this tool is packed with so much intelligence and insight. As always, Solo is easy, effective, and efficient, and this page is no different. So I'm going to dive into each of these elements within the page, explain them, and show you how you can use them to increase your sales and more accurately sell batteries with NEM 3.0 in California. Starting in the top left corner, we can see it's labeled Evening Usage Average with the drop-down arrow. When we click this, it reveals a sliding scale that goes all the way from use much less to use much more. As a sales rep, this is your opportunity to speak with the homeowner and ask them, after we install a solar plus storage system, do you think you're going to use less or more electricity during the peak and partial peak hours? In California, with the investor-owned utilities, that's typically between 4 to 9 p.m. When you slide this scale either right or left, you'll see that your recommended capacity, which mine's currently at 12.6 kilowatt hours, you'll see this recommended capacity update. So if I slide to use more, it's going to update to 14.77. Again, the recommended capacity is looking at their current consumption and everything that's already in the proposal to give you this estimate. If I slide it to use much more, we go up to 17, and as the inverse, if I go all the way to much less, it's going to downsize my capacity. As a default, this will stay at average, and you may even notice that the estimated savings for the battery you have selected will even change in real time as you move the toggle right or left. And if you ever need a guide or help, you can always hover over the eye or information bubble here to the left. Moving on to the backup section. I actually really love this section, and I love how the Solo product team and dev team built this, because what it does is gives you the option to do either pure consumption model, backup model, or you can blend the two. I've already seen some other tools and they don't have this ability. Our ability to blend the two is something that actually makes us very unique in the space right now. Backup is currently set to 0%. Again, if I click on my drop-down menu, you'll see that I have another sliding scale with another informational bubble to help me out. If I want to, I can dedicate a certain percentage or portion of this battery's capacity to backup. What that means, if I were to slide this up to say 20%, that 20% of my battery would always be stored for backup and would not be available to offset peak and partial peak demand. So keep that in mind. If you do choose to do backup and blend the consumption with storage or backup models, you will see that the capacity will go down in terms to how it will be able to affect your peak and partial peak offsets. You can slide this anywhere you want. Obviously, as you can see, if I go to somewhere in between, I can do a 35 just as easily as I can do a 30, or again, I could go down to 15, somewhere smaller if I don't want to use up a significant portion for backup. Very soon, you'll notice this advanced tab on the battery backup section. If I go ahead and click on this, it's going to show me my advanced backup requirements, with the first option available being the hours I want to dedicate to backup. You'll notice the reset button and everything else is grayed out until I click this and drag it or select a new option. Once I do, the reset button opens up as well as the rated power. Now, moving on to rated power, again, this is how much power your battery can exert to power your devices, such as your HVAC, fridge, and other electrical needs. You can slide this up if you want to, and when you do, you'll see the peak also illuminates. Again, the peak power is the surge required to power on devices. As we slide this up and down, again, you'll see this helping you make those decisions. And of course, we've even made it easy with the whole home backup recommendation of 1.6 kilowatt hours. I can click apply recommendation and that will just automate that for me. Now with our advanced backup requirements done and set, I can click out of this if I want to just by clicking off the modal, and it's going to keep those settings. Or if I go back into advanced, I can obviously click back and that will take me back to the same screen. I'll go ahead and pop that back up. Now that we have our backup set and with our advanced settings dialed in, we're going to move on to our recommended capacity and our currently selected capacity. As I click the down arrow, you're going to see a little bit more information, but again, gray represents the capacity that we need to match or at least come close to matching, and blue is the capacity of our currently selected battery. Down here, we can see the battery and we can select it at any time if we want, or we can scroll over and look at the options. For instance, a Powerwall has 13.5 kilowatts, rated and peak are set, warranty's 10 years, and our estimated savings is 12.5. I'm going to go ahead and select the Enphase IQ3 battery. I'll go ahead and click select, and we can see this start to populate. The next step is to choose the right amount of batteries to match the offset however you desire. So again, I've spoken with a lot of companies, and some of them like to match 90% selected to overall capacity. Some of them like to match. Some of them like to oversize the battery system. It's entirely up to you, and our tool will show you the estimated savings as you use it to give you an idea of that sweet spot. So here, 3.36, I'm going to go ahead and start adding some batteries to size that up, get the capacity to where I want it. I'm going to go ahead and get that up to 16.8, which is very, very close to the 16.9 that we have there. We'll settle it there for this example. Now, you'll see the total savings here, and this savings will basically show what this system will do to offset peak and partial peak. This 13,165 will also be factored into the 25 or 30-year savings in your proposal. So think of this page more as a sales tool where this battery setup will save them $13,165 in avoided costs with their investor-owned utilities. So make sure when you're doing this that this is not the total 25, this is just the battery savings for offsetting peak and partial peak demand. Now, you may have noticed that we have Solar Insure already built in, and you'll notice as well that we have the warranty or the default warranty built in for this battery. When you add Solar Insure, that's going to increase your savings because it is doubling the warranty for what Solar Insure offers. Again, we're awesome partners with Solar Insure. They are a great partner and a great company to work with. Their Solar Insure warranty on the battery can actually extend and give the homeowner incredible savings over double the lifetime. No, yes, whatever you want to choose, it's going to be factored in there and show that immediately. Again, keep in mind the estimated savings that you're seeing here on the initial selector is just for that one battery. This savings number, the reason it's bigger, it's bold, and it's right there in the center is because this is the number that you watch as you change the tool to show the different sizing. Keep in mind, if you don't have Solar Insure added to your solo account, this will not be here. If I actually click into my side menu, go to insurance and remove this, I can show you what that looks like. Just like this, you'll see the savings disappear. Now, with this battery and with the modeling, we've taken so much into account. So as I mentioned before, round trip efficiency, depth of discharge, manufacturer spec sheets, all the investor-owned utilities in there with all of their rate plans, net metering plans, all of these variables are working together to give you the most accurate depiction of what you're selling to the homeowner. So this tool is so awesome and so helpful to help you feel confident in selling in an NEM 3.0 environment. So if you're this far in the process and I want to click the trash can, I can do that. Click over to a different battery, select, increase my quantity to pair it however I'd like, and move on. Very, very simple to do with this new tool. If I want to trash this again and go right back, easy to do, select, pump it up to 5, match it, and then we move on with the homeowner. Now that we've gone in and reviewed the battery tool, let's talk about how you can enable this page on your solo proposal. Keep in mind, we are releasing this to California customers first in light of the recent NEM 3.0 changes, but we will be releasing this nationwide very soon. To substitute, we do have a battery modeling page that we've had in our proposal for about 4 years now that does factor in square footage of the home, hours of backup, HVAC systems to be used during a blackout, as well as large appliances or EV chargers. That will give you a peak recommendation as well as allow you to scroll through the different battery options that you already have in your proposal. So there is a solution today, again, that has been there for several years. So to enact that page, what you want to do is either reach out to proposal support if they are your main point of contact, or your strategic or technical account managers. What they will do is add a special feature flag to your account, which will give you access to that tool within your proposal. Once you have the tool enabled, you'll be able to dive in, start getting a feel for it yourself, and then definitely reach out to your strategic or technical account manager to book a personal one-on-one meeting for more training for you and your sales staff. It's very, very important that we go through all the details with you, make sure to answer any specific questions, and of course verify that all of your battery options are built into the proposal correctly, priced correctly, and ready to be sold in our new NEM 3.0 environment. So to recap, we have gathered solar industry experts and leaders. We've gained intelligence and insight on what they would want their sales reps to have in their hands while selling batteries. We've built the tool, we've launched the tool, we're educating on the tool, and now we want to make sure that everyone has this in their hands as they're selling so they can avoid making any mistakes and accurately selling battery systems. Again, the benefits are plentiful. We've got the ability to show a consumption battery, a backup battery, a blend of both, a self-adjusting tool that will show you the right options at the right time, the ability to add multiple options. All of this is built into this brand new tool, which you can access and use today. If you don't have it enabled, again, please make sure to reach out to your strategic or technical account manager or proposal support if they're your main point of contact to have that page enabled. Remember, this is just for California companies right now, but it will be rolling out to the country later on.